Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Jayzon, and we've got a Division B East matchup coming up for you guys tonight. Two heavyweights here in Division B West. And I've also brought along a good old buddy of mine, Mongoose, in to co-cast with us tonight. Are you ready for this match, Mongoose?
Yeah, not just ready for this match. I'm ready to watch two teams teach me how to win at the video game. VMS in particular has been doing a whole lot of winning this season. The most successful team in all of NGS, not just B West, Virtual Murky Slayers, definitely standing tall here in Season 6.
Yeah, I think we talked about it the other day. They've had basically what is the highest, success rate so far in the league across all divisions. Of course, scaling for each division, but I talked a bit with team captain for Logical Decisions, Wono, a little bit earlier, and he said, a little bit of mixed feelings of excitement and nervousness, and how can you not when you're going into a team like VMS?
Yeah, and the side kind of story in this is, despite how competitive B West is, a Logical Decision is going to get into the playoffs. They have a little bit of jockeying for position to do. Virtual Murky Slayer has no jockeying for position to do. They're only going to finish in one place. So how much do you show the second to the last week of the season?
Yeah, if you're not in any danger of that, I personally wouldn't show a whole lot. I would go more standard, the same kind of stuff I've been doing all season. And if you got anything, really weird in the bag, you just keep it in there until the playoffs come around.
Yeah, especially this is true for both of these sides, but specifically for Logical Decision. Oh no, we lost something. We lost a player. But specifically for Logical Decision, if you think you have some kind of trick up your sleeve, an ace in the hole, something that you think you can, play David to VMS's Goliath, I don't think you show that in the regular season. You try to hold that to the potential playoff matchup.
Yeah, and these guys are, like you said, guaranteed for that first spot. So whoever's going to end up number 8 might want to watch this match closely. Don't know who that could be, Mongoose.
Who could that be?
All right, looks like we might be ready to go a second time here. It looks like the first draft was incorrect for which team was going to get to have first pick, first ban, so that's why the remake.
Makes sense. They probably didn't switch it when we had to swap for the overlays.
Yep.
I just checked Virtual Murky Slayers. There are 3 teams this season in Nexus Gaming Series as of now that only have a single map loss. Celeb Gaming, Abusement Park, and Virtual Murky Slayer. So they're in some pretty sweet company there.
Well, on Friday, those 2 other teams are playing each other, so
they are
bound to be thinning of the herd in that group either way.
Yeah, and winner of that gets the #1 seed in Heroic. Both of those teams are going to get buys regardless, but it should be a really good matchup.
Yeah. So we are going to see Virtual Murky Slayers with first pick, first ban here. They take out Tahaka, and then Logical Decision taking out Zeratul. So apparently Logical Decision is afraid of somebody who's even better on Zeratul than their own Ziltoid. I guess Fake News Nate.
Yeah, both these teams have a more than serviceable Zeratul player. I don't think you're going to see him at all. The surprising ban is the Zag. I know, I shouldn't say I know. I'm pretty sure it's Logical Decision that likes to run Zag in the 4-man on Dragonshire, actually. Usually you see kind of Zag off in the solo, but I've seen them kind of run it as a kind of something a little different. Zagara in the 4-man as first pick Diablo coming out from VMS.
Yeah, Zagara's damage kind of reminds me of a mage, good ranged poke damage. But yeah, Diablo picked first. We're going to see Johanna and Raynor picked up in response here. So Johanna, of course, with the good wave clear. Raynor with really good damage to follow up if Johanna can get that initial engagement. And the slow especially. That's a good combination. But meanwhile, we'll see Ana and Phoenix on the other side. We've seen Seabrisket on this hero a lot throughout the season.
I feel like we're the only team that bans out Ana sometimes, Jay, and every time I see her, I feel like she's just shrekking people. I'm surprised she's getting through as much as she is, as good as she is. Logical decision banning out the Malthael.
Yeah, so they're going to take away that kind of pseudo counter to Diablo, that really high health pool with the percentage-based damage, and then the last rights to be able to finish off that massive health pool. But one more ban coming in from VMS. We'll have to see if they maybe want to put a healer chokehold down. Maybe a ban on Tyrande, which Wono likes to play quite a lot. Nope, they're going to take out the Sylve instead, which we've seen get more and more popular here in NGS as the weeks have gone by post-rework for her.
Abathur being picked up by Wono and Morales by Snowglare, so that's a little bit of a role swap there. Usually Wono on the support, but running the Abo, forcing Snowglare over. What I was going to say, I'm surprised I haven't seen a whole lot of Lucio this week. Coming off the rework, we were hearing some good things. Have you seen him a lot in the games you've been casting?
No, neither picked or banned so far today, but I don't know, maybe people are still trying to figure him out, but we do have Ragnaros and the Cassia coming out here, so I almost wonder if that Ragnaros is a response to the Morales. Usually you'll see something like a Juice Pirates with the Morales, especially on a map like this, and the Illidan makes me think that might be where Logical Decision is going here.
I mean, this is interesting. I'm not really sure what to think of Logical Decisions draft. If I'm VMS, I'm thinking early game, I'm going hyper aggro onto the structures here. A body light with not particularly good wave clear. I think pre-10 Logical Decision, they're really going to struggle to defend their structures if VMS steps up big time here.
Yeah, very unorthodox strategy coming in from Logical Decision. We'll see if it pays off. Of course, Illidan Abathur, kind of an oldie but a goodie. And then, of course, the potential siege damage also coming in from Raynor. But I don't know. I like the more standard comp that VMS is running, but maybe Logical Decision just looking to try and throw them off here in Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, if you figure is the tear that VMS is on, maybe you want to do something weird, throw them off their game, this would certainly qualify. But
right.
For the blue team, Jay, who we got?
We got virtual Murky Slayers. We've got Fake News Nate on the Ana. We've got C Brisket on the Phoenix. A Brew or Two playing the Ragnaros. Veggies is going to be on Diablo. And Swagnaros going to be on the Cassia.
And Logical Decision in the red trunks, featuring Snowglare on Lieutenant Morales, Ide 15 on Johanna Ulysses, playing Illidan Ziltoid on Jimmy Raynor, and whoa no, it's Abathur.
Whoa no, indeed.
So Logical Decision wanting no part of the ceremonial brawl in the mid lane.
Yeah, right away,
probably
both teams
understandably so.
Yeah. Right away, both teams kind of spreading out into lane a little bit here. Looking at level 1 meatball build coming out for Ragnaros. And he's going to be in the 4-man, so they're going to go ahead and put Sea Brisket up in the top to go against Illidan. Should be an interesting matchup up there. Meanwhile, 4-man rotation being started a little bit early by Logical Decision, so they get a little bit of an advantage in the bot lane. But looks like they're going to stick 3 down in here to try and push the bot lane, while in the mid they just have Abathur kind of passive soaking at the wall. Sea Brisket taking a ton of damage in the top, though, from that Illidan.
Yeah, Phoenix is a pretty solid solo. Usually can kind of trade out with the shields to get value, but an Illidan with an Abahat is going to rip Phoenix apart. And he needs to play pretty passive, rely on his teammates to take advantage of these other 2 lanes, which they should be able to. And I think this is going to be an invade. Johanna is caught out, forced to pop the Iron Skin, but it is expired. Abahat and Morales Healing Beam getting Ide out of trouble. But this is VMS's siege camp to invade if they want it. No. And I'm also concerned, look at the lack of bodies soaking right now for Logical Decision. I know Abathur can cover some of that, but there's literally not a single body in lane until just now.
Yeah, they prioritized rotating out, grabbing those camps. Was an opportunity for VMS to maybe make a play for the dragon, but instead they're just going to try to answer with a little bit of camp pressure of their own, try to out-soak, and it's gotten them to a slight lead, but you mentioned the Abathur. I think they got a lot of XP back from the Abathur soak, so really no level disparity right now.
Yeah, and mid lane is almost being ignored by both teams. Iron Skin procced on Johanna, Veggie's getting pretty low, forced to disable, and I'll be honest, Jay, I'm surprised at how well Logical Decision is able to do what they're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, the Abathur's getting the passive soak on the wall as those waves push in, but we do have Ziltoid being isolated out a bit here. Fend comes in, ton of damage, and almost enough off the heels of that Fire Stomp from Veggies. He will make it out, though. Morales OP, please nerf.
Well, and what almost did him in was the Bio Grenade completely neutering that Morales healing beam there for a few seconds was almost enough to do Ziltoid in there.
Yeah, meanwhile, you saw it there, Illidan pushing up in the top lane with that camp. Meanwhile, down here, the battle rages on. Veggie's going to go ahead and toss Ziltoid once again. The grenade on the other side from Snowglare trying to kind of displace the members of VMS. Meanwhile, Ulysses going to have to run away here as Brew or 2 rotates on up, and looks like they're going to grab the top lane here for VMS. And we may have the actual first possible Dragon Knight capture, but down comes Logical Decision to take the bottom back.
You know, I'm pretty impressed, honestly, with how well Logical Decision is running this. If they stay even till 10 with this comp, I think they're going to be in a good place. Wono needs to be careful. Phoenix is in firing range here if he puts on his long-range gun. I don't know if he actually sees him there, but now comes Illidan to scare away that Phoenix.
Yeah, Illidan going to rotate up and grab the top shrine back. Both will be owned by Logical Decision for just a bit here, but nobody in mid to try and capture that on that end of it. So I think right now it's more just a pressure game back and forth, and we do see, again, you know, slight level lead for VMS, but nothing to write home about. Veggie's going to charge in, going to be punished a little bit here by Ziltoid, firing away. Meanwhile, in mid, we see Ragnaros just soaking and the battle raging on back and top. So pretty much standard here early on Dragonshire, but a big shotgun coming in from Ziltoid, and they're going to pick up that kill onto Cassia.
Yeah, first blood going over Logical Decision, picking up the Cassia with E-Day really setting up that kill there, and Ziltoid knocking it down. And then Phoenix goes down in the top lane, as does Illidan. So the two solo laners trading out off camera there. Ziltoid caught out under tower. Really great play by Veggies to pick up that kill there. And now Logical Decision on full retreat with two bodies back at the Hall of Storms.
Yeah, and interesting enough, the Sun Shrine up in the top is neutral. Abathur actually going to slug his way on in there and grab that while everybody's down in the other lanes or dead. And so that maybe could have been a bigger moment if Virtual Murky Slayers had that, but the trade on both sides means that that's just going to stay neutral. And for right now, nobody's going to be able to make a play at Dragon Knight. We're going to probably be level 10 here, I think, for these teams before we actually get a Dragon Knight coming in.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. It's going to be level 10, and it'll be VMS hitting level 10 first. They're about halfway there. I will tell you, Jay, this map on this kind of game has got to be one of the most difficult to observe, because there is just stuff going on absolutely everywhere, but I did catch that one.
A brew or two on the rotation up. Great meatball there. Just getting right in his path of retreat and able to get another kill for the side of VMS. So they'll have a little bit of an advantage here. Level 10s coming in as well. E-Day just barely getting in there with the flashlight to interrupt a brew or two. Almost the first Dragon Knight capture, but for right now it looks like E-Day is going to be here to defend. Lightning Breath popped in the bot lane, puts a lot of pressure on Ziltoid, but between the tap and the Morales heals, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, and we do have level 10s. It's going to be Nano Boost, Lightning Breath, Sulfurous Smash, Ball Lightning, and Purification Salvo coming out there for Phoenix.
Yeah, level 10 is right on the horizon here for Logical Decision. Looks like they are going to go with the Ultimate Evolution along with the Hunt, Blessed Shield. Jimmy is not picked yet. Stim Pack, though, so we're not going to have any of the Juice Pirates shenanigans.
Phoenix goes down in the top lane. We're going to see a Hunt here after he captures this, and it's going to be on to Anna. Let's watch for that, or maybe Rag because he's kind of low. Let's see what they decide to go with. If Illidan is going to Superman in, and no, going to just keep pressuring that top lane, do everything they can. Veggie's in trouble taking a lot of damage from that Raynor. So it looks like VMSJ is running that kind of OG when Phoenix first came out, the Lightning Breath Salvo combo. And now it's actually Logical Decision controlling all 3 points, both teams rotating up. Ziltoid needs to back up. They're all right behind you, dude.
No, Ziltoid going to get charged into the wall. Damage coming in from a brew or two as he pops that circle onto Veggies, but for right now, Ziltoid will make it out with his self-healing proc, and Virtual Murky Slayers will recap the bot, so no DK attempt for a Logical Decision just yet, but here come all 3 members back down. Evo is up if they want to try and force here, as is the Hunt in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, and if they want to force something pre-13, now is kind of the time to do it.
Rotating down, here it comes. On the other side, we got the Lightning Breath coming out, but with Phoenix up in top, no Sabo. But yeah, they decide not to hunt in. They're just on the retreat right now. Ziltoid going to make it out, but that well, not going to be so lucky. Hunt does come in onto Fake News Nate on the backside, but good damage response coming in from Swagneros there with that blind combo. And that's going to be a good counter to Ulysses throughout this match, is that Cassia pick here.
Yeah, and the counter to Raynor, too. Both of those heroes, actually. And all the health bars for Logical Decision were so low, Snowglare could not take care of them all at once, and it kind of forced them to back off their own engagement.
Yeah, they had the opportunity, but as soon as that Lightning Breath came out, it kind of ruined their chances. Meanwhile, here comes Abathur Hat on Ulysses, and he's kind of taking a look at Seabrisket, but good damage from Seabrisket coming out in response. Meanwhile, Camp fought over in the bot. Big grenade coming in from Snowglare. Going to zone them away and be able to force them back off that point. And Logical Decision successfully defends their camp here.
Yeah, so a little bit of a stalemate. 3 kills to 3 kills. Structure's pretty even. Neither side able to secure the Dragon Knight. It's really been VMS that's just has this really a slight soak lead.
Yeah, they're going back and forth, but you're right. Neither team really getting any sort of advantage right now. Ulysses actually getting low, though, and a brew or two again with a big rotation. I don't think Ulysses is going to make it out of here.
Yeah, that's
huge.
That's something Logical Decision has to call out when that hero goes missing. Ulysses has to know that he's coming, and that's twice that's happened now.
Meanwhile, it is capturable here, but look at Abathur with the symbiote hat, able to interrupt a brew or two, and now throwing down the the mines as well. So the stall BM coming in from Wono. Meanwhile, it will be captured in the mid, but a ton of damage here in bot. Ziltoid's going to fall, and that's a really rough moment here for Logical Decision as the Dragon Knight's coming out. One of your main forms of defense, and Raynor goes down. You hate to see it.
Yeah, I think this kind of feels like the point in the game where VMS is going to start taking control a little bit, as Ulysses is all over Seabrisket, and I don't know that he gets out of this. No, not
with that ult coming out on the Hunt. But meanwhile, bottom fort is going to fall to the Dragon Knight. It's still very healthy Dragon Knight with lots of time left as they're going through the front wall here. Jimmy just now coming back to life, so they will have a little bit of a semblance of defense, but I think this might be too little too late for this keep, Mongoose.
Yeah, Illidan's coming down as well, so all hands on deck for Logical Decision to try to defend this keep, and VMS is backing up, so maybe Logical Decision is successful. The Dragon Knight is actually tanking that keep, and that's going to bring it down.
And look out for a brew or two here. We got double Raynor with the Illidan. Sulfuris is going to come out on the other side to try and zone, but too little too late. Illidan is going to fall, though. Ulysses dying to that Fend coming in from Swagneros. Another Fend along with the Lightning Breath here. And they are just getting chunked down. E-Day trying to escape. Snowglare healing with everything he's got with that beam. Charge onto Ziltoid. He's going to make it away. I don't know how each member individually got away there, Goose, but no member of... well, the members of Virtual Murky Slayer is not able to target any one person down there.
Yeah, but you can see in a number of these engagements that healing grenade just wrecks what Morales does for a good, however long it lasts, 3 seconds or so. And there have been a number of times where that lack of healing from the bio grenade has been a really big factor.
Yeah, level 16's now in for VMS, so A little bit of an advantage here. They got a little bit more than a level lead, and that trickle will continue to come in as they did get the bottom fort there. And they've been doing a nice job of staying spread out. They've kept Seabrisket pretty much exclusively in the top lane. So you mentioned it, the Savo combo with Lightning Breath. So that could be something we see later in the game. But with Seabrisket being split this whole game, we haven't seen it at all yet.
Yeah, Ziltoid might be in trouble at the bottom. Snow Glare is there to escort him home, as well as a wall of mines waiting for any member of VMS to step forward there.
Kind of reminds me of playing co-op in StarCraft right now, but we will see level 16 now in for Logical Decision. The Shrine's also activating, so Logical Decision going to have to push out these lanes and start to think and plan about how they're going to try and deny this. VMS going to have the position and the vision here with these lanes pushed out to kind of plan out how they want to approach this map objective phase.
Yeah, and really this has actually been a pretty tight game. The only difference between these two teams is the one DK that Virtual Murky Slayers was able to secure, and then the structure damage that they got with it, as well as a little bit of extra XP soak as well.
Yeah, 6-5 on the kill counter. Still about that level and a half lead, but ultimately, I don't know. You know, it could still be going anywhere. We do see VMS split all over the place here, and I think Logical Decision, seeing that too, going to try to push in maybe a little bit into the bot lane and try and hold down here, but for now looks like they'll back out as it turns into a 3v3. Yeah,
Illidan's kind of hovering in the neighborhood for a hunt, I would guess. If Logical Decision wants to take a fight, you know, their opportunity for pre-20 is going to be pretty slow here. Ziltoid is out very far by himself. They go on to him. This is a 4-on-3 right now. Lightning Breath doing everything they can to bring down Raynor. Wono popping the ultimate evolution, and here comes Logical Decision. There's the hunt. That leaves Phoenix able to channel in the mid lane, as well as Illidan going down. Despite the hunt, the Cassia is just doing such a number onto Illidan anytime he tries to YOLO in here.
A brew or two nailing that Sulfurous Smash to follow up the hunt from Illidan, just saying, no thank you, sir. You think you're going to stun me? We'll get stunned back with a lot more damage. And just like that, you mentioned it, pulling off of that Phoenix in mid means that the Dragon Knight's going to be capped, and now it is all VMS on the march for the win here. Raynor is going to go down to Veggies on the backside, and that is going to be it, Mongoose. Game number 1 on Dragonshire going to go over to the Division B West leaders, Virtual Murky Slayers.
Yeah, different composition from Logical Decision there. Out of the draft, I didn't see it. They ran it pretty well. But I think there were just one too many answers to Illidan, to be honest. I don't think they got what they wanted to out of the hunt. Between the Cassia blinds, and the hunt is a projected ability too, so you know exactly where Illidan is going to be, and you saw it with Ragnaros there, just dropping the Sulfurous Smash right on top of him as soon as he got there. So I don't think the Illidan got as much value with the global hunt and the team fights as they were hoping he would.
Yeah, kind of Logical Decision, trying to go with their namesake there with the Abathur and trying to make that work. But, you know, good early game, but boy, late game, it felt like Virtual Murky Slayers just kind of started to pull away and never looked back there. Definite superior team fighting capabilities. They scaled a little harder, and they were able to take big advantage. Good macro calling as well. You know, they just kind of focused on that bot lane, didn't really care about anything else, and you know, Dragon Knight 1 goes through the fort, and Dragon Knight 2 takes it all the way to the core there off the heels of a couple extra good teamfight wins. But I don't know, you know, at the end of the day, it looked pretty evenly matched between these two teams in terms of skill. I think we definitely could see Logical Decision bring it back here in Game 2 and force us to Game 3.
Yeah, I haven't watched too much of Virtual Murky Slayers this season. A couple games here and there. But of the ones that I've watched, that one has been the closest. I know they took us out to the woodshed pretty good, and they've done that to a couple other teams, though. But this game didn't feel like it was One team in first place crushing the division and one team kind of in fifth place struggling with the rest of the pack. This felt like a very close, very competitive game, and I think if you're Logical Decision, you're feeling good about your performance there.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. You got to feel good about getting that first win in pretty much any scenario, but they definitely played it really well, and I feel like that gives you a lot of confidence going into game 2, pretty much in any scenario. But it'll be up to a lot of it's up to Logical Decision. Is that loss tilting? Do you take that as what it was, as kind of an off strategy where you were trying something out and maybe you go a little more standard in game 2 and try to just face them a little bit more straight up 1v1, but that would make sense since this next map is going to be Battlefield of Eternity, so we're going to get to see a lot of straight up 1v1 fighting here.
Yeah, and this showing Logical Decision having first pick, so they opted for first pick, and Virtual Murky Slayers, if you feel like you're the best team fighting team in your division, this is where you're going to take teams, right? So the choice of map makes perfect sense if you're VMS.
All right, so it looks like we've got both of our teams in lobby and ready to go. These guys are pros and they are on it. So what do you like here for these teams? What adjustments do you think we might see for Battlefield of Eternity?
I don't know. If you're VMS, I don't think you change anything. If you're Logical Decision, they kind of ran a pocket strat, I guess. They ran something a little bit unusual. So I don't know if they're just like trying stuff out, or they wanted to catch VMS off guard. I don't know if they go back to something a little more straightforward, or maybe they have something else up their sleeve. It's kind of hard to make a single adjustment off of an unusual comp like that. It's not like they both clash standard and you make a little adjustment. One was kind of weird and one was standard,
Yeah. Be interested to see if they allow Anna through here. Logical Decision does have first pick, so they could choose to steal the Anna. But we've seen her banned out somewhat. Oh no! Did we get the order wrong a second time?
Are they on the right side in the overlays? They are?
They are.
Don't know what happened.
No, it was correct. They just weren't sure if it was correct or not.
Rip.
That's pretty great. The double false start. I like it. Not the first time I've seen that happen. That's what really drive a ball coach crazy, though. When you hit the false start 2 plays in a row.
Yep.
All right, so back we go into Battlefield of Eternity. We'll take 2 and try this again. And I don't know. Of course, race always a big priority here on this map, but you want to counterbalance that with the ability to team fight pretty well. So we see a lot of Tyrande for that race capability, even though she's a really strong hero in the meta right now. Artanis, kind of a hero that you'll see here occasionally, that's not quite so meta. But again, Zeratul going to be that ban out contested hero between the two, but Ziltoid clearly not wanting to prioritize it, and they definitely don't want to see fake news nade on it.
Yeah, VMS Rex with that Zera, we found out that the hard way. If and when we play them again, spoiler alert, they're not going to be playing Zeratul either. So I get that ban. I think that's smart. And I guess VMS deciding that Raynor was enough of an issue that game 1 to where they don't want to mess with that either.
And Mark Zombie with the big raid. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. 18 people coming in. Welcome to the nightcap here in the Nexus Gaming Series. If you guys are just joining us, we are going into game number 2 between these two heavyweights in the Division B West. And Virtual Murky Slayers, Logical Decision. I think it's going to be a pretty evenly matched fight here for game number 2. We'll just see how the draft ends up going here, Mongoose.
Yeah, and there's the Anna ban. I mentioned it in the draft in game 1. I just do not want to see her. I will point out an Abathur ban on Battlefield of Eternity, though, Jay. I really like the Ana ban. She is so obnoxious. The Eye of Horus is obnoxious. Nano Boost is obnoxious. The Healing Grenade is obnoxious. And first pick Anubarak coming out for Logical Decision. I really like that pick too. Anubarak's great.
Yeah, definitely one of the higher contested heroes, and with Virtual Murky Slayers kind of going with more the hero-specific bans from trying to deny Logical Decision some of what they had in Game 1. Naturally, a few more of these meta picks are going to slip through, like the Anubarak. And speaking of those meta picks, here comes Diablo and Tyrande. Really strong combo on this map. Good race potential from the Tyrande in particular. And Diablo's just got about 1,000 different walls in that midsection of the map to charge people into here.
Yeah, Diablo Tyrande, kind of an old school combo that really was a couple years ago now, just ran rampant through the meta. Actually, my first time I ever got into Plat was on the back of just playing Tyrande nonstop when she was really good with the Diablo. The only problem with Diablo on BOE is a little bit harder for him to stack the souls once he loses them. But still a really good hero. And on the other side, we have Ziltoid playing Sylvan Snowglare on the Leeming, so we know who's going to be on the backside of this Logical Decision comp.
And so we're going to see the Leoric being banned out here, a Ulysses favorite in that solo lane. Also a pretty good counter to Diablo. And meanwhile, another ban coming out here from Logical Decision. They could try to get a little bit of a focus onto the race potential heroes. And there it is, Vala going to be banned out. Do you think that's the priority? Do we think we might see Hanzo coming out here from VMS?
Hanzo not as good as he used to be. He's still okay, but Vala, to the best of my knowledge, is still the fastest burn once her build comes online at 7. So I don't mind that ban at all. But Thrall, Zarya, beefy, frontline, a lot of damage. I'm really curious what that last pick is going to be for VMS. That the shielding, the kind of half pseudo support of Zarya opens some interesting doors.
Yeah, the Zarya definitely a little bit off meta from what we would expect to see. But the Thrall pretty standard, good CC follow-up. And Uther and Rexar are going to come out here. So solo lane Rexar looks like it's going to be the choice for the side of Logical Decision. And what do you think of the Uther pick here?
I mean, it makes sense that right now, and now I really like it too. You can de-shield out the last rights, assuming that's what Swagneros goes. But I don't know where the damage is going to come out from VMS, and it's going to be a lot of single target damage as well. So I like the Uther. I've never seen a comp quite like this with no backline whatsoever, essentially, other than the Tyrande. So I like the more kind of standard draft here by Logical Decision. Having said that, I wonder if Logical Decision will struggle to keep the front line off of them. Like, are they just kind of roll over the front line? They should have the stuns with the Uther and the Anub and Misha and Cocoon to deal with that. And I think they but that's going to be the key to these team fights, is keeping all the frontliners for VMS at bay.
Yeah, and that is quite a front line between... especially you put Uther into that mix, and it can be pretty difficult to deal with from that front line. I will say this much, though. The potential spread damage between the Chain Lightning and possible spread damage as well from Malthael can be difficult for them to deal with. But let's get on in here to game number 2. On the left, we've got Virtual Murky Slayers up 1-0 here in the series. Veggies going to be playing the Diablo. Fake News Nate going to be on the Thrall. A Brew or Two on the Zarya. Swagneros is going to be on the Malthael. And Seabrisket going to be playing the Tyrande.
And Logical Decision will feature Ulysses playing Misha and Rexar. Ziltoid on the Sylvanas here in Game 2. Ide on Anubarak. Wono back on the support playing Lumberjack Uther. And Snowglare on Leeming.
Snowglare already deciding he doesn't want to play this one, but obviously joking there. But we are going to see the standard 4-1 rotations. Maybe you might call it 4 1.5 rotations here on this map. And Wono caught out a little bit early here, so that's going to be an early first blood going out to VMS as they find the isolation onto Uther.
Yeah, the Uther definitely stepped up too far there, and VMS, both of these sides have a lot of hard CC, so any overstep by either team could be very punishing. Ziltoid actually caught out by a sort of raw lunar flare there, and he's a little bit low, waiting for Uther to come and top him off, and there it is. But there's the overstep. You saw Thrall just took a ton of damage on the overstep, but Anub'arak is going down as well. This Zarya with full charge, just doing a monster amount of damage. I wanna check the damage numbers to check. Yeah, I mean, 2,800 so far. Basically been a full charge the last 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, originally Zarya kind of thought of it as a decent soft counter to Li Ming, because once those abilities go out, you can't really stop them from hitting whoever they're going to hit. And a Brew or two, if he's fast enough on these shields, can get a lot of extra sustain onto those targets, as well as the charge in from the shields.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of a double soft counter to Li Ming too, because not only do the Li Ming abilities, as Ziltoid is in trouble there, get slammed into the wall, not only does Zarya catching Li Ming's abilities charge up her own energy meter, I actually don't know what it's called off the top of my head, but it prevents the Li Ming resets as well, so it's kind of a double-edged sword that way.
So we see now, right now, a little bit of a level lead here for VMS off the heels of those 2 kills. They get a nice early camp as well, the pressure here in the bot. And look at the rotation up to top here, as Malthael going to have to go back, and Thrall going to go ahead and rotate up to the top lane to relieve him, as pretty much anybody struggles against the Rexar Misha right now in lane, but it looks like both teams going to go ahead and take this opportunity to grab their shaman camps on each side.
Yep. Logical Decisions will get theirs first. VMS is a hair behind, so Logical Decision will actually get positional advantage in the short term, at least, if they want it. But instead, they're going to try to catch a Brew or two down here, but he is having none of it, just standing his ground and wailing on Wono and Ide. And here come reinforcements, maybe?
Yeah, both teams kind of interesting rotations here. Nobody really going too quickly onto the Immortals, so we'll see a little bit of a poke coming out from Snowglare onto that Immortal, but it's like mostly defensive posturing from both squads. They want to clean up these lanes and or push in the other ones to get a little bit of an extra XP lead here early, and looks like VMS is going to zone Logical Decision away from this one on the defense.
Yeah, and Silva's gone down to the bottom to clear out the camp, forcing Logical Decision all the way back. In the meantime, off camera, Thrall is going actually onto Logical Decision's Immortal while they're being zoned off the blue Immortal.
Yeah, back and forth they go in this almost push of war, if you will. Meanwhile, we do have the charge in from Veggie. Stun in response by Wono, but not really finding enough damage on Veggies to deter him, really. And now it looks like Fake News Nate's going to come down, and they're going to look at trying to engage 5v5 on this. Chain Lightning going out, dealing a little bit of damage, and it's kind of a war of attrition here. Charge and toss onto Snowglare, but he should be able to make it out. Does get hit by the Lunar Flare, but won't make it across the line okay there. And now charge in from Ide on the backside, getting a big stun onto Veggies. The Globe is there, the shield, though, coming out from a Brew or two. Going to help him get out of that for now. And the level 1 quest also being completed there for Zarya.
Yeah, if Diablo would have gone down there, that would have been huge. Snowglare would have got the resets and would have been off to the races a little bit, but the trade definitely went in favor of Logical Decision. However, as I say that, Ziltoid is engaged upon and does go down, soon to be followed by Ide and Malthael and Uther. Everybody going down. Logical Decision in retreat.
Bloodbath. It's a 3-for-0. Make it a 4-for-0 as Ulysses is going to go down and takes Misha with her. But we are going to end up seeing the 4-for-1 exchange and the members of VMS now going to be able to rotate up and force halftime in a phase where Logical Decision seemed to be having the point on front. How did they turn that around like that, Mongoose?
Well, there were. If Diablo was getting easy access to Li Ming and Sylvanas, that's really a problem. It's what I mentioned at the end of the draft. That if Logical Decision lets this front line get in there, they're going to be in trouble. And Diablo has the Spell Shield, the Soul Shield at level 1, as well as Zarya shields. And it really makes him feel very comfortable YOLOing in there. But VMS just... no, actually, that's Logical Decision actually winning the Immortal.
Yeah, it was a really
VMS was a little lax. Yeah, they were lax after halftime and kind of got to the race late. Logical Decision was not. They were Johnny on the spot and able to rip that Immortal despite losing the team fight.
Yeah, these death timers are really low here early in the game on this first map objective fight, so not surprising to see them be able to come back and win that, but a little surprising to see two members of VMS go up there right after halftime trying to soak, and then not even having the Zarya come down to race, instead kind of trying to play defense, which is really not Zarya's game. But meanwhile, in the defense, Veggie's looking to try and make something happen. Charges in, but doesn't quite find the target he's looking for there. And front wall is going to end up going down for VMS, but not too much else, as Veggie's charging in, trying to get the stun onto E-Day. But it's actually Ziltoid that ends up getting caught up there by the overpower. And that's going to be another kill now, 7-1 in favor of VMS here.
Yeah, and watch the Diablo. He's all of these charges and these overpowers are onto Li Ming and Sylve. He's able to get that a little bit too easily, I think. And granted, what they're running is really difficult to play into, but you really can't let Diablo get on your squishies that way. There's too much follow-up, too much damage. And I really like the adjustment by VMS, sending Thrall top to play with Rexxar and Misha. Thrall is actually a significantly better matchup into Rexxar and Misha than Malthael is, so that's a nice adjustment there by VMS.
Yeah, it's going to hurt his ability to stack for that level 1, but ultimately we will see him coming down, trying to get another opportunity at this. Level 10's now coming in for the side of VMS. We're going to see Last Rites with the Gravitation Surge, I should say, along with Lightning Breath, Sunder, and the Starfall.
Yeah, Logical Decision not quite online with their heroics, but they will be before this next objective. And a little bit of an odd Lightning Breath there, Jay.
Wave clear, baby.
Yeah, I guess so.
Level 10's now coming in for Logical Decision. We're going to see the Divine Shield along with Wailing Arrow, Cocoon, Summon, or no, that's Summon Boars, and then the Wave of Force.
You don't summon them, Jay, you release the boars.
Oh, right, release the boars. Summon Boars is more of like a food thing, I got you.
Yeah, and I will say Wailing Arrow, with as much as Virtual Murky Slayers is clumping, could be pretty big if Ziltoid hits a big Wailing Arrow, combined with D-Shield as a little bit of an OS button. These level 10s could really change the dynamic of these. Let's see how it goes in the first post-10 engagement here. That's ranging all over this mid area, very far scattered engagement.
Both teams are super split here, but look at Veggie's on the backside. Gonna find Ziltoid with the charge. He's getting very low there. Gets the Divine Shield a little bit late. We'll be able to keep him alive, but Fake News Nate coming in with the big Sunder. Gonna have to back out though, getting hit by Snow Glare, but he's gonna end up winning that exchange. Cocoon down onto Malthael as they're gonna have to back up here. No Snow Glare. Wono though caught out a little bit too far. Veggie's again just that massive overpower, and the Last Right's gonna finish him off 2-0 there for VMS.
You know, there's a dynamic to this game that kind of just dawned on me. I've been pointing out how easily Veggies is getting on to the Sylve and the Li Ming. And that's not just positional things. That's also... Veggies doesn't have a backline he has to peel for. He's like just sharking for those guys. He doesn't have to worry about protecting Thrall or Malthael or Zarya or even Tyrande, really. He's just fishing around for the big engagement onto the squishy. He sat in this vent here for a long time waiting to get onto Ziltoid and finally was able to, and it kind of broke that fight open.
Yeah, that angle was a little bit nasty to watch there. We will see a little bit of damage coming out there onto the Malthael, but they're able to push a couple members back, but they can't afford to go too far here. They want to try to force VMS to come in, but right now it looks like they're content just to slowly poke at this and do the dance back and forth. Meanwhile, big gravitation coming out with the Lightning Breath paired on top of it, and the Starfall on the backside. The Sunder coming in from Fake News Nate, though, on the flank is just massive. What a combo there. They're going to be able to take out Sylvanas, and the rest of the members of Logical Decision make it out, but low health, and they are going to end up losing this Immortal big time here. Full shield Immortal going to be marching into the top lane.
Yeah, that was actually a good response by Logical Decision to get out of the Gravitational Surge, the Cleanse, and the Burrow Charge. So they really weren't held there much, and Lightning Breath didn't get a lot of value, but I think Ziltoid misclicked because the Wailing Arrow just kind of fired off and didn't go anywhere, and not getting any value out of that was a problem.
Yeah, level 13's now in for VMS as they push in to this top fort. We do have Rexar down in the bot lane, soloing, trying to get a little bit of extra XP, trying to help them get to level 13. Veggie's kind of just up on the flank, looking to see if anybody from Logical Decision steps out too far. It looks like for now they're just going to stay safe behind the fort, or the keep front wall, I should say, and try and defend here.
Yeah, but I would not be surprised. As soon as this gate goes down, you're going to see Veggies go after somebody, so really watch for that.
Yeah, he's in position, looking to try and step in on somebody. Ziltoid getting a little bit low, everybody backing up. The Immortal still has a little bit of the shielding as it starts to focus in onto the keep here. Charge in from Veggies, and the Starfall going to come down on top of that combo there, and that's going to be a dead Sylvanas to start. Multiple members low. Poor Misha going to go down as well, and multiple members low. Ide going to have to actually burn the Burrow Charge just to make it back to the Hall of Storm. Snowglare with the last second teleport to get out is going to make it to the Hall of Storms as well, but the shield is starting to fall here on the keep, and VMS can smell the 2-0 domination. The core is down to 50%, and we see all the damage coming out, the split damage, but that is going to be it. Game number 2 and the series going over to Virtual Murky Slayers.
I don't know if you knew this, Jay, but VMS is pretty good.
You know, I was starting to get that hint throughout the season, but I don't know. You know, I've heard they play incredibly well, but the rumor has it that they've had a little bit of struggles with their interview game. So we're gonna get them in here for an interview and see if they can right the ship a little bit.
We need to swap that. Let's start being good at the video game and bad at the interview game, Jay.
We're too good at interviews. You know, you can't have everything, man.
It must be.
All right. So we'll reach out to Fake News Nate, see if we can grab him in for an interview here. Anything in particular standing out to you as we take a look at these stats here for game number 2?
Well, I mean, we said after the draft, or I said after the draft, that while I liked Logical Decision's draft better, I was concerned that they couldn't keep VMS from just rolling over them. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. I mean, Diablo just ran roughshod over them. They didn't seem to have any answer for him. He got a hold of whoever he wanted. Had not a care in the world between the Soul Shield and the shields from Zarya. Diablo basically felt invincible once he was stacked up.
Alright, so it looks like we are going to get Fake News Nate indeed. We'll give you guys a look at these talents. We only got to level 13 talent tier for the side of VMS, so not a whole lot revealed here in this matchup. Let's see. There's got to be a way to add him to this call. I know there is.
You have to add him as a friend first.
Yeah, I've done that. Oh, it's because he's just Nate. He's not
There
fake
you go.
news Nate. He's just Nate.
Ta-da!
Hey.
Hello,
Hey.
and we are joined here by team captain for Virtual Murky Slayers, Fake News Nate. How are you guys feeling after that win?
Oh, feeling great.
All right, so you guys come out and you came out swinging, especially in the second half of that game one. Kind of describe to me how you guys were feeling in that first half when it kind of seemed to be going a little bit back and forth, and in particular, it was kind of a unorthodox comp coming out from Logical Decision.
Yeah, honestly, we kind of thought they would be doing some sort of meta back cheese. Well, I did. The other people thought that it was too small of a map, which I also thought somewhat. But anyway, they didn't. But it was a little puzzling why they took Morales, because it's a really unusual hero. So that we didn't know quite what was going on with that. And happily, we basically 3v3'd bot lane Cassia, Diablo, Ana versus Joe, Raynor, Morales, and got the upper hand enough that top wasn't too bad that Illidan had that most of the time. So,
all right, and then in game number 2, we saw you guys come out with pretty standard, other than the Zarya. Tell me a little bit about the back, like why you guys decided to go Zarya and what you guys were looking for out of that pick.
well, they had already taken Li Ming and Sylve, who are both pretty predictable damage. The Li Ming, it's purple stuff that you see coming a mile away, and the Sylve is also purple stuff that's coming from a mile away. So the shields are pretty effective, I think. And then that map, you don't. It's a 2-lane map, and so macro is really not that important. So that's where Zarya is good.
Yeah, the pink stuff from Zarya countering the purple stuff. I think we
Yeah.
made the colors work out. Among Us, you got any questions for Nate?
Yeah, since we're probably going to end up meeting you in the first round of the playoffs, if we sent you guys freshly baked cookies, would you play with only one hand during game 1?
Oh man, that's a tempting offer. We'll have to talk after the interview about that one.
All right.
Talk
Well,
turn.
just consider it a bribe is on the table. We got to even the odds a little bit, so it's out there.
I mean, I gotta consult with the squad. Like
Sure.
I also don't really know how many of us have to play with one hand, because that affects.
Oh, it'd be all of
What
it.
if we sent everybody freshly baked cookies?
Well, they'd have to sign off individually. So
I mean, who doesn't like cookies? I mean, really.
yeah.
No, impressive play all around. Game 2 in particular, what I was concerned happened. They really didn't have a way to keep you guys off of them that game 2. Diablo kind of didn't have a care in the world, no backline to protect shields and spell shields, and he could just kind of do whatever he wanted, and then they just did not. Even with the Anubarak stuns and the Uther stuns and the Misha stuns, it just didn't matter. They didn't have enough to keep you guys off, and it's like a boulder rolling downhill. Once you guys got going, that was kind of that.
Yeah, they did a solo Uther heal, which is a bit of a risky proposition sometimes. I think they were playing a poke comp with a solo Uther heal, which makes it kind of difficult for them to sustain for a long time.
Sure.
Like, I think a lot of times when we were just hanging out, I was stacking Crash Lightning, and even though we had sort of all melee heroes, we weren't really losing the poke war that bad, so it worked out.
All right, well, one last question I had for you guys is, obviously we're heading into the postseason here. You guys are a lock for number 1 in the playoff picture. Is there anybody, whether it's B West, B East, anybody you guys are looking at and worrying about playing?
Well, we don't know very much about the East teams. We know that the West Coast is obviously the stronger division, so not too worried about them, but okay, that was a joke. I don't know. Anyway, we really don't know much about them. So we played like a couple of them in Heroes Lounge and last season in NGS. But, the top people in the standings in East could very well be pretty scary, like Dilly Shark. I think last time I checked was doing really well, so we'll see.
All right. Well,
in terms of our division, I think that maybe as the season's gone on, the games have gotten better. So, it should probably make a really interesting playoffs.
All right. Well, congratulations again on the big win tonight. Number 1 versus number 2, and you guys look like you were in solid form throughout the night. But before you go, I want to make sure to give you the opportunity for any shout-outs you'd like to make.
Shout out to you guys. Always appreciate the casting because it's fun to have that part of the community going on. And GG's Logical Decision. Fun games.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming in for the interview and taking a little bit of extra time out with us. And, hey, we're going to see you probably in a couple weeks here in the playoffs.
Sounds good. See you then.
All right. So that is going to do it for us tonight, guys. We'll see if maybe we can get Mongoose back in here with the camera.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can't confirm, Jay. A couple of members of VMS in lobby confirming they would play with either camera lock or no hands for cookies. So maybe we have a chance. I mean, it's a little...
At least in game 1.
a little corrupted, maybe a little backhanded, but you know what? If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Gul'dan, I think that's Gul'dan's motto, and he's in the game, so it all works out. But I want to thank you, of course, for joining me, Mongoose. Even though we can't see your lovely face right now, do you have any shout-outs? Where can people find you? All your good stuff.
Twitch.tv, mongoose_22. Twitter, mongoose__22. I normally don't cast Fridays, but if nobody grabs that celeb gaming abusement park match Friday, I will not let that go uncasted. So you might find me casting Friday. And then tomorrow, do we have a cast or art game? Confirmed, not confirmed?
Yeah, we do.
We do.
That's somebody.
Who's doing that? Let's.
I can't remember it off the top
Dead
of my
Latin.
head.
I've never seen Dead Latin cast, but twitch.tv/deadlatin33 tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Pacific Time. Regen Blue versus Scorpius Eternum. You can catch both Jay and I there as we continue to struggle to find wins in Season 6.
Hey, we're 7 and 11. Well, okay, maybe 5 and 11. But we're not winless. But
no,
but yeah, you're right. We're trying to struggle our way back up the standings a little bit. But definitely want to thank everybody for coming out and watching. Everybody in the chat, thank you very much for doing your thing. Always got to thank Twitch chat. And one thing, of course, I want to make sure I do before we leave is go ahead and shout out our NGS Patreon. So go on over and check out the Patreon. I know Mongoose and the boys have been doing a lot of good work on that. Anything in particular you want to shout out about the Patreon?
Running out of time for this season. Anytime you become a Patreon this season, you qualify for all of the awesome rewards, including one named after Weenus with some pretty interesting prizes. So go check it out if you're curious and might be interested in a large rubber chicken.
Well, there we go. And don't forget to hit the follow button here as well, guys. Sub if you want to support my streaming and get your name up on the wall. By the way, I still owe those last 3 guys right here some bigger names that are easier to read. I'll get on that this week. And until then, until next time, guys, thank you all for coming out. And for the Nexus Gaming Series, I am Jayzon, he's Mongoose, and we'll see you all later. Have a good night.